Hey guys, Jared here with a Gameovation video. Now we have every single character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think it's about time to go through every single DLC character and rank the level of hype we felt when they got announced. A lot of this comes down to my personal opinion, but I'm also going to try and gauge sort of the fans' reaction to it and sort of how this affected sort of the gaming industry in a larger sense. If you're new here, then be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video. It helps out the channel more than you can imagine. Right, so let's kickstart with Piranha Plant. Now, a lot of people forget that Piranha Plant was a DLC character, so it does actually technically count towards this list. And you know what? I get that people's knee-jerk reaction would be, oh, this is rubbish, who cares about Piranha Plant? But to be honest, we didn't know that this was coming at all. This was such a huge surprise for us, and I got to admit, whilst I was watching the Piranha Plant trailer, I thought to myself, damn, this character looks pretty good. So for that reason, I'm actually going to put Piranha Plant in decent. Moving on to Joker. Now personally, I've never played a Persona game. I don't know who Joker is. However, it was actually very exciting in the way that they announced this. This caught every single Smash Bros. Fan off guard, as this was announced at the Game Awards and we had no idea that this announcement was coming, like none at all. So I think for the surprise factor on its own, there was actually quite a big amount of hype behind this character. So although not necessarily mind-blowing, I'm also going to chuck it in decent. Okay, so now we've moved on to our E3 announcements. We both had Hero and Banjo. Now, personally, I know this is going to depend on whoever you ask, whether you ask in the West or in the East, but you know, I think for a majority of people watching this video, we're gonna know which one of these two characters kind of stole the limelight. Now let's start with Hero. I've never personally played a Dragon's Quest game. And you know, I respect it for the series it is, and I respect the magnitude that it's reached and how big the game is. But personally, it was a bit of a meh character for me. But Banjo, on the other hand, on the complete opposite side of the scale, oh my god, this blew my mind. The internet blew up when Banjo got announced. You do not know how long we have been asking to have BanjoKazooie in Smash Bros. So to finally have him, to finally see him looking so beautiful as well, having such a good render and everything, oh my goodness, it was mind blown. So after these two E3 announcements, we then moved on to Terry, and I feel like I'm a broken record right now. I consider myself a pretty decent gamer. Like I feel like I'm pretty well experienced, but honestly, there's a lot of characters there that I don't know. And Terry is one of them. Even though, of course, I know the game he comes from, Fatal Fighters. You know, I've never played it. I know it's quite big in South America, so I think it was kind of catering to that audience, but for me, it didn't really do much. It's also important to point out that I'm not actually judging the characters on how good they are. I'm not judging their game style, not judging how easy they are, not judging how OP they are, nothing like that. I am purely judging this from a standpoint of how hyped I was when I saw the character. And now we're moving on to the final character of Fighters Pass 1, and I'm not even going to talk about this. Byleth, you're going in stinker. I'm sorry. Like, the fact that this was also the final character in the Fighters Pass, like, as far as we knew, this was going to be the last character ever added to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and for it to be another Fire Emblem character, another anime swordsman, like, it was no. How can you do this to us? All I can say is thank God they announced afterwards, pretty shortly afterwards as well, that there were going to be more DLC characters, because oh my goodness, like, that's just insane. Like, and this isn't just me. Look at the reactions of the hype from the other characters in comparison to Byleth. I'm sorry, but for that reason alone, Byleth has well and truly earned themselves a stinker. So now we're opening up Fighters Pass Volume 2 with Min Min, and to be honest, this would have been a bit of a dud, but I kind of feel as if Nintendo knew that this was sort of starting on a bit of a flat note, which is why they announced to us that the next character was going to be a character from ARMS. Now this had a sort of a new angle coming into the Smash Bros announcement, as we knew it was going to be a character from ARMS. So there was like this weird level of hype that was like, but which ARMS character was it? So many people were going through the whole catalogue of characters from ARMS and picking out characters that would work and would make sense and balancing them up, and it was actually somewhat in its own level of hype. Like, I think it's a really smart tactic Nintendo went for, because if they didn't, people's minds would have been going everywhere saying Crash Bandicoot, Master Chief and all of this, and everyone would have been getting really hyped up, and then it would have been a character from ARMS, which honestly not many people care about. I feel as if they learnt their lesson from Byleth and were like, okay, let's limit people's expectations of this and just say it's going to be a character from ARMS. Still keep that level of intrigue there, but sort of limiting everyone's expectations, which I think is a really smart tactic. So for that reason, I'm actually going to put Min Min in decent. Now the next character, Minecraft Steve. Now, oh my goodness. Oh, like, it feels weird because Minecraft Steve was such a character where people just joked about it. Oh, Minecraft Steve, oh, imagine that, what a ridiculous idea. But honestly, like, I made videos about Minecraft Steve being in Smash, and everyone would constantly make fun of me for it because they say that's a stupid idea, that's completely ridiculous, it's never going to happen. But now it's happened. Like, looking back on it, it really was like, how did this not happen sooner? Minecraft is literally the biggest video game of all time. And Smash Bros is a celebration of video games, so how Minecraft Steve took this long to get into the game is quite surprising to me. So the trailer for this really took off. Like, it was huge across the internet, everyone blew up, and oh, just seeing Minecraft Steve break through the blocks and having him unveiled, oh, it blew up the internet, and well, for that reason, it obviously goes into the mind blown. And I also find it really funny how, as Zombie and Alex and Enderman were being announced, everyone thought that these were the remaining characters in the Fighters Pass. They thought each one took up a slot, and oh my god, could you imagine? So the third character in Fighters Pass 2 was Sephiroth, and I got to admit, I think this character actually was the biggest surprise throughout the entire Fighters Pass. When Cloud got announced into the game, we barely got anything with him. We barely got any music. We just didn't really get much with Cloud. I mean, so we kind of got the idea that Cloud was probably a really tough deal to make and to get into Smash Bros. So we didn't even contemplate that they would even add another Final Fantasy character in. I mean, heck, Sonic has been in the game since Brawl, and we still haven't got another Sonic rep. So for them to have been another Final Fantasy rep, that's just no way. And also, we already had Hero from, you know, the same company. So yeah, the idea of Sephiroth being in the game did not cross anyone's mind. This character was so cool to see in the game, and the trailer was awesome because we just didn't have a clue who it would be, and then suddenly that music came in. Oh, it was just, oh, it was like spine-chilling almost. And then the second you heard that note, you just knew. You knew it was Sephiroth. You're like, oh my god. And yeah, and he looked awesome in the trailer. And to be honest, I'm actually going to put him in mind blown. Like, I genuinely was so shocked at this. I'm not sure, like, I was hyped for it. I was just shocked at the reality of this actually happening. So after Sephiroth, we then had Pira and Mifra. I've never played Xenoblade Chronicles. I've never really seen it getting played. I've seen a few cutscenes. I haven't been overly fond of the voice acting, I must admit. I think it's a little bit on the old corny side, but I don't know, that's my personal opinion, so please don't come after me for that. I wasn't overly hyped by this character, and I don't know, kind of seeing them in the trailer, yeah, it was kind of cool that they could switch character, sort of a Zelda and Sheik style, which I guess we did kind of lose when they became their own independent characters. But, yeah, like, I don't know, I didn't really care for the characters, never really cared for the game, and seeing them in the trailer, they didn't look overly interesting. They didn't look overly unique. It's like, okay, well, we've seen this before with Zelda and Sheik, and it's good to see it back in the game, but nothing new, you know? It wasn't really anything, so that's why I'm going to put them in meh. Like, I still did appreciate it and like it, but I wasn't angry at it. I wasn't like, so it's not enough for it to go in stinker, but I was so neutral about this. Now we have Kasuya. Not gonna lie, for me this was a big disappointment. I don't know, I think this probably is literally because I've never played a Tekken game, and the fact that this was the E3 announcement, we were all expecting someone like Crash Bandicoot, or just a huge character, you know, a really big character. And don't get me wrong, Kasuya is huge, Tekken is, you know, massive, but I don't know, I think if they were going to pick a Tekken character, they should have picked Heihachi, because let's be honest, he's just more recognizable. Like, I've never played Tekken, but I know who Heihachi is. He's just, you're almost the poster child for Tekken, which is weird calling him a child since he is a literal old man. And they said the reason they didn't pick Heihachi was because of that weird demon thing, but I don't know, I think that's kind of lame. I'm just like, oh, who cares about that demon thing? Like, Heihachi's way more of an iconic character than Kasuya. Don't get me wrong, Kasuya is iconic in his own right, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of hype. Maybe this character got killed by the hype a little bit for me, but there was a lot of hype for a character who comes from a game that I've personally never played. I understand that Tekken is huge, but I also just feel like they picked the wrong Tekken character. I just feel like Heihachi would have been a far better choice. Yeah, so sorry guys, not Heihachi. Kasuya is going in a big stinker for me. Just completely didn't hit the mark. And Kasuya is one of the only characters I haven't actually bought, because I just didn't care for him. I'm sorry. And of course, as we all know, the final character to join Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was Sora. And yeah, this was huge. I literally made a video on top 5 characters who won't make it into Smash, and Sora was in that list. And it wasn't because I didn't want to see him in the game, like most of the other characters on that list. It was just because I didn't think they would get the rights to him. I thought working with Disney was just going to be too much of a headache to do, so they just weren't ever going to bother, you know, but they managed to make it happen, and it's absolutely incredible. And I think he was the perfect character to end on. It was just something so magical about his trailer. The trailer itself was just phenomenal, and the music playing as he was flying around, it just made you feel so nostalgic for, and it was just, it was such a lovely note to end the Smash Brothers roster on. So yeah, that's why Sora is obviously going in the mind blown category. But what do you guys think of my list? Do you agree with where I put the characters, or do you disagree with where I put some of the characters? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe for all things Nintendo.